This is a historic occasion. Those of you who hang out in our message boards at Gold Derby the Envelope know these guys. They're our message boards moderators, Chris Boomer Beachum and Rob Licuria, but they have never met each other up till right now. Chris, tell us where you're at, and Rob, tell us where you're at.
Well, I'm in the United States. I'm in Mississippi.
And Rob, you are...
I'm in Sydney, Australia.
And I'm in New York, New York. So this is a trans-global Emmy chat. I'm sure it's a first. And we're going to start off here by asking Chris to give us his predictions for Best Drama Series. He's got his whole lineup ready. So go ahead, Chris, and then Rob and I'll go on the attack.
Okay, sure. Well, as you know, this year there will be most likely 6 nominees in each of these categories. I've got Damages, Dexter, House, Lost, Mad Men, and 24.
You start, Rob. I see something really noticeably missing from there, but you begin.
Okay. Well, we all know what I think about 24, and maybe I'm out of the loop now because I don't watch it anymore. But and I've been getting so many friends of mine who just think that I'm insane, but I don't think 24 is going to make it. I really don't. I think the era of 24 is over. So I'm just taking that completely out of the top 6. And I'm replacing that with a more likely contender in my mind, which is Boston Legal.
Because it's been nominated every year.
It's going to make it. Yeah, it's last year, and people love that show.
You know what? I was on the subway in New York the other day, and this young hipster kid was sitting next to me with his little iPod out, watching In Treatment. And I thought, boy, isn't that a signal that this show has penetrated the young hipsters? I think that has a very strong chance of making the top 6. Do you guys agree?
Yes.
Yes, I've got it in my top 10. In Treatment, HBO normally has a show here in the drama series category. Of course, there's been Sopranos and 6 Feet Under, shows like that. But I could easily see In Treatment making it in. It actually won an acting award last year, and most likely we'll get a couple of more acting awards this year, at least nominations. So sure, I think that can make it in.
What about the one breakout? Am I right to say that Fringe is probably the biggest breakout ratings-wise of the new shows? And this is J.J. Abrams. This is a big weekend for him with his Star Trek movie out there. One series he had that was pretty kooky and fantastical. One Best Drama Series in its first year. We're talking about Lost, of course. Could Fringe make it in?
I don't think so. I think Fringe is a really great show, and I love it a lot. But it's just not. I don't think it's the breakout show of the season. The Mentalist is the breakout show of the broadcast network's season. But Fringe is certainly very good. But I can't imagine it even making the top 10.
I would agree. I don't think it makes the top 10.
So tell us the other shows in your top 10, Chris. What do you got there?
Well, beyond the 6, of course, that I've got nominated, certainly Boston Legal could make it. It has been nominated so many times. I think the other nominating system that we've had the last couple of years helped it with a small panel viewing those very Emmy baiting kind of episodes. I think also it's been off the air so long, having ended its run in December. I think this might be the year that it falls off the radar. I've also got Breaking Bad. Now there's a show that's on an upswing. After winning last year for Bryan Cranston, now it's in its second season. I know a lot of people that's their favorite show on TV, and I could see that making it in this newer system, maybe making an appearance there. I've got In Treatment, and then the other HBO show that had a lot of buzz is True Blood, and I think that has certainly a possibility of getting in there.
Interesting. So of the 2 shows that are currently on TV that were in the top 10 last year that you do not have in your top 10, I'm talking Friday Night Lights and The Tudors. Why aren't they on your list?
I don't know anybody that really loves The Tudors, and I think you have to have some kind of a passionate fan base. Friday Night Lights is loved. I think it has been on a downswing lately, and I think this whole relationship with DirecTV and NBC has a lot of people confused. A lot of people watched it maybe on the DirecTV version, which aired way over in the fall. I just don't know if it's on the radar like it was. And if it was ever going to get nominated, it would have been that first season when it had all the Critics Awards coming its way and so much attention, and it couldn't even make it in then.
Rob, pipe in here. Battlestar Galactica, ER. What else could make it in here?
Okay. Well, I have pretty much the same top 10 that Chris does, although I think I'm actually predicting that In Treatment will make it through to an actual nomination over House. We talked about that last time. That's a risk because everyone loves House. House has always been nominated, but I'm just, going out on the plank to see if maybe it may not make it this time. But when you talk about Battlestar Galactica, I think the laws of physics tell us that Battlestar Galactica will never make it into the best drama series.
Wait a minute, stop right there. Why not? Star Trek, the Next Generation, wasn't nominated until its final year and it got in, right?
Yeah. True, that is a very good point. And I remember I was only a kid back then. It's pretty scary. And I remember when that happened, I was just over the moon. Being a sci-fi geek like me, that was the most fantastic moment ever, especially because it was in syndication. And I think the corollary for that now is that Battlestar Galactica is on the Sci-Fi Channel, and so if that would ever to happen, it would be amazing. But Tom, there are so many drama series in contention and good ones. It has a lot of competition, and I think apart from writing, directing, Mary McDonnell, maybe Edward James Olmos with a very small chance, it just doesn't have a hope in hell. And you've got other shows out there as well who are not even in that top 10 that we discussed, like Big Love and The Closer, which has done very well for TNT, especially at the Screen Actors Guild Awards. It hasn't done the same for the Emmys, but it's definitely a possibility. As is Grey's Anatomy, it's made the top 10 numerous times before. I don't think it will this time. And maybe even Rescue Me. That show kind of fell off the radar because it wasn't very good for a couple of years, but it's really come back. It's very entertaining, and critics have noted that show, so maybe FX might want to push that.
I do agree. And the one thing, Rob, I think not being maybe here in America, 24, I think, is coming back. It was so welcomed back this year publicly and nationwide with the critics and the audience after having been off a year. It almost felt like when The Sopranos would take a year off and come back, just in terms of public reaction. I really think that it will make it back in, and it's been a really good season on top of that. It may even get a couple of acting nominations beyond Kiefer. Somebody like Cherry Jones playing the president this year, who's a Tony winner, has been really good and a focal point of the season there.
We don't have an obvious winner. Last year it was obvious Mad Men had such buzz, such momentum. Even though no basic cable show had ever won before, it looked likely that it was going to win early on. We don't have a front runner this year, do we?
I think we actually do, Tom. I think Mad Men is still the front runner. I think its second season was just as good as its first, and the way the critics go on and on about it and praise it like it's the second coming, I just think it really will probably win again. That's my opinion.
I'm not sure if we know a winner, but I agree. I think Mad Men was actually, I think it was even better in the second season. Yeah. It was even richer and fuller, and they explored even more of the characters. So I actually liked it better, and it was a breakout season for all three of the women, the actresses on the show. Yeah. I do think it's probably the front runner, but Lost has had an amazing season too, and it may come back here in an Emmy race. Although, as they get down to actually watching these episodes over in maybe August, I don't know if they're going to be able to follow. It's becoming a show harder and harder to follow unless you are a fan.
Mm.
Okay, I disagree that we have a front runner here, but I agree in general with you guys overall there.